My 43F, husband's 46M, affair partner 19F, is pregnant, doesn't know the baby's father, and I don't know where to begin with fixing this. Throwaway account. All names are fake to protect mine and my children's identities. A few days ago, my husband of 19 years came to me telling me he wanted us to sit down and talk as he needed to come clean that he has been having an affair for the past 6 months. He arranged with his mother to have the kids for the night, and she would get them to school in the morning so we could talk in private. He had arranged this with her in the day while I was at work. When I arrived home around 6:45 p.m., he was sat in the living room alone waiting and looking very nervous, and quite frankly ill. I was immediately concerned for him and asking where the children were. He couldn't meet my gaze, reached out for my hand, sat down again, and quietly announced he was so sorry, and he never meant for this to happen, but he had cheated on me. I had no idea how to react. I was still concerned why no one else was home, as they all should have been home hours ago, normally getting back around 4 p.m., and none had messaged me to ask or say they were out with friends. He started to ramble on, I think trying to explain himself, as if there is any explanation for cheating. I wasn't paying attention, demanding he tell me where our children were. Eventually, he told me that his mother was looking after them for the night. He asked me to calm down and let him explain himself. I admit I snapped when he said this. How can he expect me to calm down when he's just admitted to breaking our vows? What is there to explain? If he wanted a divorce, he should have just asked for 1 month ago. He started to get upset, begging me to please calm down and let him talk. He didn't choose this, but there's more to the story. I was so full of emotions I walked outside and sat in my car. He followed me to the door, crying and begging me to listen and please don't go. I sat in my car for I don't know how long, sobbing, thinking of our marriage, our children. What will happen now? Does this mean divorce? Couples counseling? Can I forgive him? And the biggest question, why? Why did he cheat? Who is she? Why is she better than me? Why is this woman more important than the life we have built together over the last 22 years? After maybe an hour of spiraling and crying, I was ready to hear him out and ask my questions. I knocked on the door. He opened it, reached for my hand, and we sat down again. He tried to lead me to upstairs to our bedroom. I said, absolutely not. We're talking this through downstairs now, or he can leave for tonight. I didn't know what to expect from what he wanted to tell me. I didn't care for the apologies and excuses. He told me the affair had started 6 months ago, but it had just been secret messaging, nothing flirtatious from his side to begin with. Then things escalated. She became more boldly flirtatious, and during a night I was working away, they slept together the first time. That was supposedly 4 months ago. He hasn't admitted but I believe they've been intimate regularly since. I asked why, who, how, so many questions. I didn't give him time to answer as I began to spiral again. He said it was Emily, a name that didn't mean anything to me. I half laughed and said, am I supposed to know who that is? Then he said, James. Emily. James is our 18M son. Emily, 19F, is his ex-girlfriend as of 2 months ago. I was so angry in that moment. I shouted for him to get out. I didn't want him anywhere near me. I couldn't stand to look at him or listen to what he had to say next. How would he try and excuse not only having an affair but with our son's ex, who he was still broken up about? She had broken up with him 2 months prior, which had him very upset, as they'd had a sensible and very positive relationship for over a year. She was fully welcomed into our home, and I was quite fond of her. The whole family had been sad to hear they had broken up, his younger siblings, saying how they missed her coming round. I apologize, I'm getting away from things. This is still so much to think about, and hard to actually put down. My husband told me the reason he was coming clean to me now was that Emily had confided in him 2 weeks ago that she was pregnant, but was unsure as to who the father is. She said it could be him or James. He told me he hadn't planned or wanted any of this. He didn't initiate the relationship. He tried to not get close with her, but he wasn't strong enough mentally, and it just happened. Upon hearing that, I got up and left. I just couldn't stay there listening to him any longer. I drove 30 minutes away and checked into a hotel for the night, turning my phone off. I went into work the next day, as normal, returning home to the kids out once again, and him waiting by the door, eyes red, begging me to talk to him. I didn't have the energy to talk or argue. I just walked up to our room, laid in our bed, as he begged me, crying again. I'm not delusional enough to believe anything he says regarding how it was all her initiating the flirting. She's only 19, and he's more than twice her age, for God's sake. He didn't act in this alone, but to try and place all the blame on a teenager is quite frankly pathetic and makes me sick. It has been a few days since, and nothing has resolved. Things are back to normal for the sake of our children. James doesn't know about the affair or possible pregnancy. They're all back home, and I'm trying to make things appear as normal as possible just until Christmas is out of the way. I don't want this affair mess to ruin what should be a joyful time of year. I've hardly spoken to my husband since, except for when the children are around. Having to share a bed with him disgusts me. He's tried to cuddle me and get me to kiss him in front of the children. I feel so much animosity to him. I fear my depression that I struggled with as a teenager will come back. I just want to cry everywhere. My heart is broken, not just for myself, but for our family. I know James needs to know, and sooner is better, but I don't know that I can be there for us both right now. How do I even try to figure this out? When is the right time to tell James? I know it's so silly to think we could keep this a secret until Christmas is over, but I don't have any idea where to start. It just feels like the worst time for all of this. I don't know how I feel regarding everything. I know I'm nowhere near finding a solution or thinking of next steps. I'm mostly concerned for James and the fallout this will have between him and his father and our other two children. Comments: very competent. Christmas is not a concern. Let that go. If you ever want to have another Christmas with James, you need to tell him everything immediately. Call an attorney. You will obviously need one because you cannot stay married to this man and also have a relationship with your children. They will rightfully hate him, and if you ever act as apologist for him, they will hate you too. Stop acting like things are normal and fine. Every day you keep this hidden from your son is another knife in his back. You need to stop trying to protect your husband and trying to pretend everything is okay. Insist your husband tell him, or you will. One of you needs to move out. I vote him, but if he won't leave, you should. After you speak with an attorney. Your husband is an irredeemable piece of waste. He has broken your heart, and worse than anything, betrayed his own son. There's no place for him in any of your lives. He made his choices. Let him live with the consequences. Fork a knife. The husband must move out, otherwise she's abandoning the children. Pack his shit, tell James, call his mom, and tell her he's her problem. Tell the husband he's not welcome in the family home he broke. Tell the kids he made bad decisions that hurt you and James, and that it was best for everyone that he move out. Sister Funkus, and poor James doesn't need to be left with his POS father, who deeply betrayed him. That's not fair to him. Dad did the crime, so he should leave. Conscious Nectarine 9. Oh my goodness Lord. Your husband is the reason they split in the first place. He started this before they'd even split up. Please sit your son down and tell him before either he finds out from someone else or his dad tries to spin it to be a victim. Judgment. NTA update. 3 weeks later. This is a small update of what's happened since I made my first post. I hope everyone can see this. If I haven't done this correctly, please let me know. A little summary of my last post. My husband of 19 years admitted to me that he has been having a 6-month affair with our eldest son's ex-girlfriend. Now the update. After I made the post and read so many comments from amazing people, seriously thank you to everyone who validated my feelings and helped me to create a plan of action. That night after my children were in their rooms, I sat down with my husband, told him that I didn't feel comfortable sharing a bed with him anymore and that he needs to come clean to James about what he has done. I told him that I was going to contact a therapist for myself and for James, and as some comments had suggested, I would ask them if they think it is best for James to be told in their company for additional support. My husband didn't have anything to say, he just sat there taking it in. I think that was when he started to realize just how much he messed up. He told me he would be getting a hotel room for the night and staying with family or friends for the time being. I was able to speak to a therapist that Sunday, and after speaking with my sister about everything, I thought it was best to tell James as soon as possible, as I had now known for a week. My sister took my other 2 kids for the day. They were reluctant to be away again. They knew something was up. I told them that once they came home I would explain everything to them, and we will be okay, no one is ill, so don't start to worry, and gave them both a huge hug. With me there, my husband spoke to James. He told him similar to what he had told me, but without the excuses, and begging for forgiveness. James was quiet for a very long time, so my husband went to another room to give us some time alone. I don't want to go into how James was, as that's not for me to talk about, but he was obviously very hurt. We spent a long time talking and consoling each other. James then went for a lie down, and my husband left for a bit. That evening when my sister dropped my younger 2 home, their father came back and he explained to them about having an affair and that it was with James' ex-girlfriend. We decided not to tell them about the possible pregnancy at this time until paternity is determined and more is concluded about that. I'm dealing with the affair and possible pregnancy as 2 separate issues. James and I have both gotten STD tests, all negative so far, but awaiting the full results. Concerning the possible pregnancy, I am only focused on helping James through it. What my husband chooses to do is his own business. James has contacted Emily regarding a paternity test. He hasn't shared with me his feelings. If the test comes back positive, we are taking things one step at a time. For myself, I am back in therapy. Fortunately, I've been able to take some time off work, and I'm focusing on getting through each day and supporting my kids. Once the results for paternity are back, then I can worry about divorcing my husband. I have been to a lawyer for an initial conversation, but I think it's best to just deal with one thing at a time for the sake of my mental health. And my children absolutely come first. The only contact I've had with my husband since is him asking about the kids. I think that's everything I have to update on currently. I will update again when I have more to share. Thank you again, everyone who commented on my first post. The only question I have now is any advice for divorcing with children involved? I want it to be as easy on them as it can be so we can move on from this mess. Comments by Martin. I've been thinking about you since your last post. This is just so sad, but the saddest part for me is that James' relationship with his dad will forever be damaged. Your husband has destroyed your family, and I hope he's beginning to realize the extent to which he has done this. However, your kids are lucky to have you as their mom, as you sound like you're willing to do what it takes to help them through this. Truthy beast, I cannot begin to fathom the level of betrayal this is. How sick. Hubs was sleeping with his son's long-term GF behind his back. Unprotected sex, which leads to child. Imagine the paternity test lab. It could be the father or the son. Their DNA is similar but not exact. It is so disturbing and disgusting. The fact that there is a child inside the 19-year-old's belly, and if she chooses to keep the child, they will have to carry such awful shame. The mother holding it all together after this. It is beyond. Your daddy 1972 divorce is never going to be easy on the kids. They were betrayed too, maybe not on the same level, but the best thing you can do is make it as quick as possible. I do suggest that you let them decide if they even want to see their father for the foreseeable future, because what he did is not only a betrayal but creepy as fuck, and you, or they may not want them around, that Ellie Star cheaters cheat on their entire family. The repercussions from his embarrassing decisions will echo for years and years. Your only obligation is to take care of you and your kids, and certainly not to mend their relationship with their father, which will deteriorate quickly.